is up? Hello, my fellow mutants, and welcome back to the Mutants Only podcast, where we review and discuss our favorite X-Men comics series. I am your host, Spicy Lady, and joining with me is my other host, aka the Brotherhood, JBxclusive, Blerd Central, and we have with us Prince LOL. Blerd is our other Blerd is can't make it tonight, but it's all good because he's here in spirit. But today we're continuing our read of the classic X-Men issues 9 through 12. Before we get into that, have you guys been, what have y'all been reading or watching lately? I know Dark Web issue 1 came out, which I read the first issue of Miles Morales, I think Photon, but what have y'all been like reading other than like, you know, X-Men or X-Men stuff?
Well, for me, I've been slowly getting back into my anime genre, into my anime bag, because my ass has dropped off of anime heavy this year compared to last year. And I've just been chilling, you know, doing the stream thing and focusing on a lot of energy into that and some projects for next year. But yeah, I haven't really touched too many of the recent comics, even though a lot of them look good. Like that cover of Sinister 1 has me so wanting to get caught up so I could get ready for Sins of Sinister, because that shit look like it's about to be a fucking banger for real. But otherwise, yeah, I've just been trying to catch up on my anime steez.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat to Abe right now, like, because I've been neglecting anime and manga for a while now, for most of the year, and I've been getting back into it, mainly My Hero. Like, I know a lot of great shit is happening in the manga right now. I've been watching season 6 of the anime because there's some stuff that I've been waiting to see animated forever. And I've also been rereading King in Black. That's been a lot of fun, like getting through that. The artwork in that comic is just ridiculous. Just everything that Eddie Brock gets to do and how they incorporate the X-Men, the Avengers, everyone into this story. Null is one of the best like villains ever created. So been having a lot of fun with that, and of course enjoying the X-Men run that we've been reading.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Except now with anime, I had to get back into my video game bag because I had to clear out my backlog, you know what I'm saying? It's halfway through December as of recording, and I had that big backlog. So other than the Miles Morales comics, I haven't really touched much. I've been mostly playing God of War Ragnarok. That joint's not gonna lie, I've been chopping onions while I've been playing. I'm not gonna lie, I just rolled credits on that and it's just beautiful. I had to go ahead, call up Pops after that. It was emotional.
It's a beautiful game, for real. Watching the Games Award, it was hilarious to see, because if I remember correctly, Ragnarok won 6.
Yeah.
Elden Ring won 4,
like 3
with the biggest one being Game of the Year, which I think is fair. I thought it was a little weird that Ragnarok, after being out for literally a month, was already Game of the Year candidate. It's like, all right, I know it's a great game. I know the fandom is there. But Elden Ring, shout out to the people at Elden Ring, especially the unorthodox rabbi. That was a good time.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Shout out to
God.
him, because that was crazy. But yeah, look, I've never played any. I hadn't touched the God of War franchise ever in my life, right? I do have the 2018 version on my PlayStation. And just watching people play Ragnarok, I'm like, yo, I gotta start. I gotta do the 2018 version and cop Ragnarok and do that journey, because the game looks magnificent. The writing, the storytelling, and first of all, we love Christopher Judge over here. Shout out to my boy Teal.
He was swagging out with the rose gold, everything.
Yeah. And he gave a great speech. He gave a great speech in at the Games Award. That was
the whole half hour of it.
Right.
Yeah, right. The whole
well, you let goats talk, they ish though. You let them talk.
You do.
I don't care what uncle story they're telling. You just gotta sit there and listen.
He even had the voice actor for Loki tearing up too. That shit was dope.
I was waiting for him to call him boy. I was waiting for like, boy, you did a good job.
Oh my God. That would have hit my heart. But yeah, definitely look out. Maybe an essay coming for that, but look out for that.
We need to get on that Arcane and Edge Runner essay though, Blerd, because you was kind of tripping with thinking that Cyberpunk should have won.
You 10 episodes.
No.
I'll just say that. Just 10 episodes. That's all it needed.
we gotta do like an essay off because I was like, that is not correct. But opinion based.
We're gonna get to that.
But I'm kind of like with y'all. I've actually been doing, I don't know. Yeah, I've been doing more anime watching. I've been finishing up the seasonal stuff with like Uzaki-chan's The Overlord. Because I've been letting that build. I have not been watching My Hero, y'all. I'm a little bit My Hero'd out because of just, everything that's been happening with recent announcements, and I'm not gonna get into, but I'm a little My Hero'd out. That makes me sad. A little bit. But in terms of anything else, I've been getting caught up in X-Men Red. And just doing more exploration with like comic books. I haven't really been watching much of anything else, really. I've just been like working really and getting ready for projects for next year, kind of like with Abe, and obviously gaming. But yeah, trying to think what else I've been reading, but that's pretty much it. I read the issue 1 of Dark Web, which is nice. We got thrown into the world already. We got introduced to characters that I'm like, I need to do some research on, but it's fun.
I'm gonna get on that dark web because I've been faking, but I've seen some things and I've heard some things about some characters that I'm like, yo, man, I haven't heard that since I was little Blerd. First picking up his first comic books, I haven't heard those names. So I got to get up on that. So
also, I'll just say this before we get into the thick of it. I know by the time people hear this, it will be several months after the trailer of Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
But watching that trailer made me realize I have to get into my Spider-Man bag because there is too many dope-looking Spider-Men and Spider-Woman, Spider-People that I need to get into my bag about. I need to, as the wifey says, I need to learn me something.
The first thing I noticed in that trailer was Mary Kate's MJ's spider costume. I was like, that's that was the first thing I saw, and the second one I saw was the Spider-Man video game one. I was like, that's from the video game.
That's that white and red Joan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
white spider on the front.
That's wifey's favorite spider outfit.
When they showed Spider-Man Unlimited, I was like, I didn't even see Spider-Man Unlimited.
I lost my shit, bro.
I love that.
Nah, but the original, they had PS4 Spider-Man. But when somebody showed me that clip of PS1 Spider-Man, yo, one of the first games I ever got as a kid, yo, I lost it.
Wait, is that the one that's meme where he's like walking and it's like chaos is going everywhere?
No, even before that, this joint with like his hands are literally like blocks. Like that's how old it is, man. Don't let me date myself. Don't let me date myself.
I'm crying.
Keep it going.
But that trailer was lit. I loved it. I read the Clone Wars like with like Peter and Ben Reilly, which was really good. A little bit confusing towards the end where I was like, so it was him all along. Okay, what was the point? But I loved it. I also read Miles Morales, this like clone saga thing. So I was like, okay, cool. But that's probably my favorite like Spider-Man, or obviously King in Black as well. But I really did like the Clone Saga. But that trailer made me nerd out. I just love Spider-Man. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, my son got so tall, and now he gotta fight, Miguel, who is Jack, played by oh my
Oscar
gosh,
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, which is like a little bit more to that. So I'm just like, okay, I can't
Jessica
wait.
Drew looking great. Hopefully she on the right side. Don't make me have to root against Issa Rae, y'all. Sony, I will knock down them doors. I will knock all this shit.
I'm not arguing against no auntie. Like if you look at her, I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like I'm not fighting with her. Like I love it. I love the design, the redesign they went with her off of the original first Spider-Man before Jessica Drew being a Black woman librarian. So I love that they went that route. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie, and it's a 2-parter too. So I'm excited. But enough about that. Let's get into these issues, y'all, because was it a lot of fighting and reading. As it always is.
So many words.
This narrator loves to talk, and so does the X-Men. So let's just get into issue 9 prologue. like a phoenix from the ashes. So our team comes back safely from space. And Professor X is like, look, y'all need a break. It's too much. Everybody all over the place. Y'all go to Banshee's family estate, who conveniently got it just in the nick of time, which we all know is because his cousin, which was a setup because he killed his lawyer in like 2 issues before. But I was not expecting the Juggernaut to appear, which was a nice surprise. So what were you guys' thoughts on this whole issue with getting used to the Phoenix Force for a little bit of time, Jean gaining the galaxy and passing out as one does, and then X-Men just having to go on vacation. But it never is a vacation for X-Men because, you know, evil always looms around. They can never get a break.
Honestly, I thought, especially looking at issue 9, I like the fact that as wordy and as much talking as they love to do in these comics, they did it. They gave you just enough, you know, for those who know, they gave you just enough to be like, oh, that's a Phoenix Force. But we're gonna slowly build to that. We're not gonna just shoot our load, right? But I really like this issue particularly because we humanize the mutants so much here, and throughout these issues that we read so much, we've humanized them so much to be more relatable. Because yeah, you can look at the X-Men and all their strife against humanity and whatnot, they kind of stand above. You know, they're kind of like mini gods. You know, we'll explore more of that when we get to Judgment Day and all that stuff. You know, Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals. But it was just nice seeing that. And then on top of that, I like Kane Marco. I love the Juggernaut. I also love the Juggernaut's history. And him and Black Tom Cassie teaming up, I thought was like, okay. You know, well, first of all, it's a family reunion for Banshee, right? And it's a wanted family reunion for Kane Marco. So I just thought this was fun. And even more so, and Blerd, I know you're gonna love this. Let's talk about Scott. Let's talk about how Scott is finally realizing, like, yo, what is more important to me? You know, is it this team or is it the woman I love? You know, how often have we always looked at Cyclops, Scott Summers, and been like, yo, you are the definition of a Boy Scout. You know, you do as Xavier tells you, you follow your orders, you know how to differentiate between logic and emotion, you keep them separate, to the detriment of your relationship, you know, with Jean Grey, and to the detriment of your relationship with others. But here, finally, when he thought he was about to lose Jean Grey, that's when he's just like, yo, this ain't it, boss. This ain't it. Nah, I
But
can't
he
do
goes
this.
too far sometimes. Like
He does
Cyclops
go too
goes
far.
too far. Like there's
He
a
does.
balance, and he's never had that balance of being like, okay, let me compart. Let me just choose. It's either like F y'all, I'm out, die, I don't care, or it's like
But how
I'm
human
the
is
boss.
that?
I'm the boss. Shut the hell up. You know, look. It's like you can't be in and out like that, bro. Like
It's
you gotta
very
have a balance.
human,
It's
but it's
so
the
human.
exact
Right.
reason why Cyclops should not be the leader of the X-Men. I will die on this hill. I love Cyclops. I think everything would work better if he wasn't the leader. He is a great leader at times, but in moments like this, where you have to make tough decisions, Scott isn't the guy. He should not be running the team.
No.
I see what you mean,
I agree.
but given the impact he has had as their leader,
Wait,
I
let's
really
let Blerd
find
talk
that
it.
hard to believe.
Blerd is about to.
I
Blerd's
feel
about
you.
to.
Listen, as number one, let me tell you, as number one summer stands, right? Let me tell you right here. I'll be the first one to tell you, these ain't Scott's best issues. These ain't like, let me just throw that one out here. But yes, I gotta say it is like we gotta remember, okay, we're thinking of it like, you know, long history, you know, of Scott's. This is him smooth out of graduation day. You know what I'm saying? Graduation day being the old X-Men. We all know Iceman, Beast, Angel, all of them. After they graduated and he started having to lead grown-ups, you know what I'm saying? We only 2 weeks into that, maybe like a month, couple months into that. You know what I'm saying? So I give him that grace, but you know, this yeah, these ain't Scott's best issues. Like whenever it comes down to really having to make hard decisions for Jean Grey or the team, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, yeah, Scott usually don't be coming out on top. This is the only time I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna agree with the Summers hate on this one a little bit, and then before we get to the Madeline Pryor stuff, I'm be completely quiet. But right now, it's building towards something. My man is having a heroic journey right now. He's really having to make that real hard decision between what is the most important thing in my life. This woman that I've been, in love with since I was a hormonal 14-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm in my 20s and stuff like that. I'm about to marry this chick, everything like that. Or my obligation to the team with this creepy bald dude that kept hitting on my girl in a while, but we're not going to talk about that for a second. I'm going to bring it up one more time in this episode, but we're going to talk about that right now. Now he pushing me, he getting on my nerves. So, you know what I'm saying? So Scott's dealing with a lot. He's dealing with a lot. Not his best issues, though.
Not to clarify, I am coming from a place of like literal years, decades of reading X-Men comics. So it's like this is a built-in disdain for Scott's actions sometimes. But just like you said, Blerd, like you have to take it for where he is in his journey. And yes, I get it. And I completely agree with Abe. It's a very human moment. And I think it's very important to show that even the leader of the X-Men, the one chosen by Professor Xavier, even he has these moments. But as a collective, it's just like, this is why Xavier should have removed him as leader sometimes. Because there's a moment in this where he's talking to Nightcrawler. He's like, I let you stop me before, but if you try to stop me again, I will kill you. I'm like, bro, that's a little too far. Like, I get you're angry, but this is a little too far.
Scott, I die by the cat. Summers.
First of all, if I wish, there's moments where I want to slap a lot of Wolverine and Cyclops. I'm like, what? Y'all just be talking slick out the mouth. Like, this is your family. You talking slick out the mouth. Like, I'm just like, all right. Like, I would have been deck jaw in your face a long time ago.
Does not want peace. He wants problems always.
Well, we get to that later. But no, I agree, and I liked how, like you guys were saying, like this is him figuring out, himself and boundaries, whatever like that. But he goes too far with it sometimes. But it was so nice to see that with Jean. Speaking of Jean, Phoenix Force, I love that she's gaining the whole freaking knowledge. How when she passes out, she's literally speaking about the universe on the side parts. I love that little tidbit of information. And we also get this like nice little backstory of Banshee and his history, which I also did like. But we also see spewing about Storm's backstory. We get a little glimpses of that with how her claustrophobia brewing when they enter the castle, and she's like, this place is real old and creepy and I don't like it here whatsoever. So what were you guys' thoughts on that tidbit showing up and in this issue towards like the end?
Yeah, for me, I think it's always important to show these sides of these characters, like you were talking about with Storm's claustrophobia. She is someone regarded as a god in Africa, and she even like questions like where Jean has evolved to, is like, is she a god now as well? So I think it's really cool to have these moments. But like one really quick moment that I really like about the Phoenix, you guys know that I love dialogue. I love where she comes out of the water and she's like, hear me, X-Men, no longer am I the woman you knew. I am fire incarnate, now and forever. I am the Phoenix. Like, I love that moment. I love that panel. She looks so powerful. I love the detail they went into her costume. The fact that it's not exactly fabric and it can't be removed. That's not something you hear in like X-Men the animated series. That's not something they go into. But Chris Claremont, in all of these issues, they go so much deeper into the X-Men's powers and what makes them tick. So I love those small little tidbits that they added in there for sure. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that part too. It already set in stone for like what we're like, literally a sleeper agent for what we're about to get soon. And what we're always kind of noticing these next issues coming up with how the Phoenix Force is like brewing about in Jean. But what I love the most about that part is like how everyone kind of like came in Jean's aid. Even Logan's like, well, what does this woman mean to me? Like, why do I care? Like, why do I care about her? But seeing like those family moments with them, that really touched my heart the most. I was like, oh, like I if only they knew what was going to happen soon. But I loved how everyone was very much worried about Jean. Back to what you said about that detailing, I loved how they went into that, how it changed when it knew that like they're going to be around people, and then just like her saying things like knowledge, cosmos, gaining, just newfound knowledge. I was like, are y'all listening to her? And then just Cyclops holding her because he's just like, oh my gosh, and it's just like ceremony, but I love those details too. But Blur, you're gonna say something?
I was just gonna say I love just this whole issue. Like the back end of this issue is just nothing but character development. And that's what I love, you know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm just amazed by like how much they can squeeze into like what was like 10, 15 pages. You know what I'm saying? There's so much there. You get, you know what I'm saying? The, like you guys were saying, the costume, the otherworldly dealing with the Phoenix, Scott literally going into a whole panic attack, which goes into my whole thing that I was just saying before. My man's just having a psychological breakdown at the moment. This is the first time she died. You know what I'm saying? He's not used to that yet. You know what I'm saying? And everything with Wolverine, like Spicy was saying, and even like people like Nightcrawler getting to know what it's in his mind, and knowing little things like Professor Xavier got connections. Like all of a sudden he's just like, yo, let me just step up in here. Yo, we gonna be in the hospital. They're gonna have everything set for us. And like that, I'm like, damn, prep. You got that, like you got it like that, prof.
Right?
Bro.
He was like, don't worry about nothing. He's like, I got connections up in there. Don't even, we step foot and we good. And they were like, okay.
Nothing. I'm just like, yo, okay, you straight. And then like you said at the beginning of the episode, like, he's just like, all right, just go ahead, y'all. I'm paying for y'all to go on a whole vacation. Again, I know y'all just been on a vacation, but y'all need a vacation from that vacation, bro. You know what I'm saying? So just had the connections that Professor X has. And like we said, like Storm's claustrophobia, how she's probably, the most unmustiest X-Men of them all, because she's out here taking shower. She's out here taking showers by
that
herself.
Red dress though.
Everything.
Y'all saw Peter and Nightcrawler fighting over her. She was like, boys.
She said, we
okay.
don't. She said, we don't do that here.
Right, exactly. Calling her future husband, her future ex-husband. She
love it. Oh my god.
She's like, I belong to no one.
Exactly.
We are equals. I was like, shorty with the hair
Loved
up, the
it.
red dress, please, by all means. Hey, I'd love
it.
to take you out. You feel me?
I just want to say I love Peter and Storm's friendship. I like in every panel, even when they found out Jean was going case, she was hugging on, like her and Peter have such an adorable connection, friendship that you see all throughout these next issues, where I'm just like, I love that consistency with that, where it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I love it. I love how like caring a big teddy bear Peter is to Storm, how protective he is over her, everyone, but especially her. But not going to with him being older brother, and probably since Storm is the only girl on the team, how he like just has that brotherly instinct to watch out for her, and which is why Logan watches his mouth, because he like, boy, you're not going to disrespect no woman around my watch. But we'll get to that later. But any last thoughts on issue 9 before we move on to who shall stop the Juggernaut?
Just all in all, it's the best issue for me. Like, it had everything I want, character development, and as just looking at it as a whole, it had all the character development that I want. It had everything wrapped up succinctly. It set up all the little story threads for everything. So looking at it as an individual, out of all these 4 of these issues, it might be my number one. Might be. I just loved all of it.
Okay. My last little thing that I wanted to mention is just Black Tom and Juggernaut have the most like generic like villain intro ever. I was reading this, I was like, oh my god, this is so comic books. It's so cheesy. Him just Juggernaut introducing himself as Xavier's stepbrother, and like Black Tom as Banshee's cousin. I'm like, this is so generic, but it's so funny. It's hilarious. I love it.
I'm sorry, I just kept hearing "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch" in every panel he's saying.
Yeah,
I'm the Juggernaut. I'm just like,
yes.
just hearing that.
Y'all don't even understand how much I used to watch.
Oh God, I almost went on Twitter and was about to put a pen and be like, "I'm the Juggernaut bitch," even though that came decades later. But it just felt right. Like it should have always existed.
He said
from
it
jump.
so much. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just kept hearing it. It's definitely part of pop culture now, where it's just like I just can't. So, Abe, you have any last words before we move on?
Aside from Aurora looking fine as hell in that red dress,
Touch.
I was pleased. It was a good chapter. Like everyone has said, the character development, and that's the consistent thing about this Claremont run is that they do not shy away from developing their characters. They do not brush over. They do not rush it. It seems that everyone gets their just desserts in regards to let's flesh it out, even with the little side stories too, even though we're not going to really get into that much.
Right.
But chapter 9 was good. Issue 9 was good.
Lit. All right, so let's go into issue 10. Who shall stop the Juggernaut, where the Juggernaut just beats on the X-Men for like 80 panels, like and then Professor X almost backhand slaps Cyclops because he's like, "Boy, who you talking to? I'm your daddy. You don't talk back to me. What's wrong with you?" I love that panel. I wish he would have done it. But yeah, it's just a hot mess. But what's most important, we get Storm's backstory. We get her backstory back to her family back in Harlem with her father, her mother, and how she grew up and how she became to be known as the one we know today as Storm, which I think was the most important takeaway because we also get introduced to her claustrophobia. And what I like most about this issue is how they introduce trauma in real time, especially when it comes to like forming new friendships and bonds. Like you don't show your worst self to your friends unless something triggering happens. And I feel like they handled this very well because Nightcrawler was like, "What is wrong with Storm? We've never seen her this way." And you saw how everyone was reacting differently and how Storm was like just to herself. And I loved how they did that because I think that keeps surrealism again, which is why we loved X-Men. But I loved it. But and how people process trauma, how it's not always so quick, fast, and superhero ready. You know how certain comic book heroes do certain things. This one is more implemented in what we see in Storm and several issues and comics seasons later. So what are your guys' thoughts on that with issue 10?
Look,
Loved it. Love the way that they did it. Just love this. Even though we're not getting into the side stories, I'm like, this is the reason why we had to go into X-Men Classic, because like the whole origin of Storm, like that's not there. And X-Men was at 120, 122 what this is. So, just having that extra context, just that full like 3-4 pages, just knowing that she's actually from Harlem, coming over from to Cairo, how she lost her parents, how the MCU basically gave her whole origin to Scarlet Witch, but we're not going to talk about that.
That's literally in my notes, dude.
Yeah, see, me and you, bro, look, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that more when you bring it up. So I'm going to go, and then just, everything about like Storm's backstory just resonates with me so much. I love anytime I see it. It's the first time we saw it. I love that they put it in here. And then just everything else was just like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Slap. Everything else. I did want to point out that I love the crossover real quick. You get 2 quick panels of Misty Knight because she is Gray's. Yes, I love that they brought it back. They love it, and that's just, I love that continuity, and it's just a little stuff in here and there that they don't really do in comics too much now, even though everything seems more connected. Everything's kind of more insular, but before there was a lot more like back and forth between here, like with the heroes and the for hire and the daughters of the dragon, a lot of the villains that you see coming up in this series, they were originally villains for that, or like how the Juggernaut, he'll fight them, but then he'll go to Spider-Man, then he'll go to Luke Cage, what I'm saying? And these people all know each other. Misty Knight knows that, check that out. I think it's Luke Cage 130 something. Don't quote me on that, but and Misty Knight knows that, they were talking about this guy, and I just love that interconnectivity, and like that's like one of my favorite parts.
For me, I just look. Storm got it out the mud. Storm from the streets, yo. Storm from the streets. Don't play with Storm, yo. It was really dope to get that background because earlier, like you had mentioned with issue 9, we learned that she's claustrophobic. And then in issue 10, we see why she's claustrophobic. And it makes sense because it's heartbreaking. You know, we don't know what happened to her parents. We can assume the worst. And then just to see her journey as she did it alone, like she started just walking the streets. She was taken in, learned how to be the best beggar out there, and then eventually became the best thief in all of Cairo. Like, she was a street urchin. And then as she got older, she walked all the way to the Serengeti.
A whole year.
She walked, and as she did that, that's when she began to her powers began to awaken. And she's doing this all by herself. And one thing, like you mentioned, Blerd, in the last chapter, she's definitely the cleanest X-Men we'll probably ever come across because she take care of herself. Well, there's Emma Frost later on, because I know Emma Frost ain't dirty. I know she's not dirty, but
she actually is. Per the old ladies and X-Men. Wait, what issue that one? The old ladies came in and was like, "Girl, you do not wipe your."
I'm telling you. Nah. For some reason, girl. Emma Frost, I feel like she don't wash her legs. But go ahead.
Well.
I don't think she do.
Given the recent years in the confessions of a certain group of people, I don't doubt you. I don't doubt.
Them old lady said, "Girl, yo stank. Who you too old to be doing that?"
But I did enjoy just really learning about Aurora and seeing her journey and seeing just how she did go from a young girl to a woman, by herself for the most part. She had no choice and she had to do it alone, Side note, she was a very beautiful baby. Oh my God, head full of hair.
Oh, gorgeous baby. Very alert. Very alert.
Got the motherfucking, full bob going
full
on.
Silk press. I got a full silk press.
Oh my God.
Baby,
in the carriage.
Right. Straight from the womb, she came out just hair flowing. Like you remember that Cat Williams? Williams stand up when he was like, his hair, he don't really get a perm. His hair luscious. I'm like, yo, Aurora, that right there, her hair, she got
looking luxurious.
Luxurious, But
I love that because even her father states that, where it's like she's very observant. That goes to her character, where Storm's nothing but that. And that makes her a great leader because she is observant of everyone she cares about.
And so for me, Blerd, whereas issue 9 was your favorite, issue 10 is my favorite because of all the info we get about Storm.
I agree.
I really, especially since, throughout history, characters like Storm, Black characters don't always get their, just desserts. And also, I forgot to mention this with issue 9, but even in issue 9, she taps into, she mentions an ability when she's able to sense Jean Grey that, like, we haven't seen explored very much in the cartoons or in the live action movies. Like, this woman is powerful. She is powerful. People need to understand that. And here, at least we can get a taste of that, even though it's balanced with the claustrophobia. But I appreciate that balance because, again, she's a goddess, but she's also human. At the end of the day, she's Homo sapien superior. There's still the Homo sapien aspect of it. Chapter issue 10 was my favorite, baby. Shout out to Storm.
Yeah, I'll just echo everything you guys said. Like, for me too, like, I was between 10 and 12 was my favorite, but 10 is the best for me. Like, everything you guys said, just the origin of Storm, knowing that at the age of 12, she was on her own, walking for a year, 2,000 miles out of Cairo to Kenya. It was amazing to read that. I love that we got the extra panels, like getting a little bit more backstory into her parents. And like Blerd was saying, I was reading this, I was like, this is literally the origin they gave to the Scarlet Witch in the MCU. The moment that I saw the hand in the rubble, I'm like, this is the Stark missile that literally buried her parents, and then her and Pietro was stuck underneath the rubble for days. It's the same thing. They just gave it to Scarlet Witch. I was like, that's interesting, but it came from somewhere really, really cool. And I love the way that they did it. She was taught to steal to survive. And then from that, she goes to Kenya these tribal elders find her, see her amazing abilities, and ask for herself for her help. And one thing that I really liked was in the dialogue they purposefully put in there, it never entered her mind to refuse. From the moment she was young, even though she's seen the evil of humanity, her first instinct was to help people, to use her ability. It's like, I have this great power, let me help people. So that really got to me, and that's why this was one of my favorite of the four. I also loved seeing Xavier's vision, seeing Lilandra. That took me back to X-Men the animated series, because that was my first exposure to that. So I know where that's going, so I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, man, I absolutely loved this issue. It was amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think issue 10 was definitely my favorite for just Storm's background and all of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've read this issue out of context before. So I've read like her backstory, because at the time as a kid I was just obsessed with the character. So I've always read parts of this issue. So seeing it in full context is nice. But I love Storm so much.
Loved it.
But
Yeah, just like
yeah.
just closing out that this issue, just we love Storm. Like I just gotta keep putting it out there, like the greatest Black character, the greatest female character, period, full stop. Not Black female, like greatest female character in all of comics. You know what I'm saying? She's over Wonder Woman. She's always been treated as such, and that's just
Blerd, can you say that one more time again?
Always.
Blerd, say that one more time.
Listen. Aurora Monroe clears Diana Prince every day of the week.
We gotta make a compilation every time Blerd says this, because he says this every podcast.
And then every time you put the panel right here where motherfucking Storm fries up Diana Prince, just straight Shazam style. Just put it right
I'm
there.
looking for that image right now to save. That way I'll add it in. I got you, Blerd, because I don't think people understand. People don't.
Also, as much as it hurt me to read this and to watch these panels, it was really fun watching the X-Men get dragged by Juggernaut. I can't lie.
Yes.
Especially Colossus is like, he's doing everything he can. He's just getting dragged, bro. It was hilarious.
Logan is tossing him. I'm like, Logan, leave Cyclops alone. Like, that poor man going through it. But no, and yeah, I agree. I love watching Juggernaut, except for when he touched Storm. I was like, leave her alone. Don't touch her.
Grab her by the hair.
Don't do that.
No,
I know every single one of us felt the same way.
I was like, don't
put the book down, just nigga.
Fight the ones who have their fist up, okay? Don't go for the ones who are down. Go for the ones who still getting back up again, okay? That's not a fair fight.
And I gotta give it to the guys, because they all nutted up at that moment. So I gotta give it to them.
They did, especially Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler and Peter definitely did. Wolverine, yeah, okay, but Nightcrawler definitely was.
I have to get this off my chest. You know me. I love Wolverine, but woo, Wolverine, woo, you are a rough ass. I just, because we see it in this issue when he refers to Storm as a broad. You saw Peter say, "Excuse me, what you call her? What I tell you about her, don't ever." And then next issue we'll see. but Colossus was like, "Don't you ever call her a broad. You better give her respect." And I'm like,
and then that's in this issue. That was in issue 11 when.
Yeah, that's the next issue.
Next issue, yeah. We're gonna get into that now. Then, any final thoughts on issue 10, because I have a lot to say about that Wolverine.
The last part, just like the extra story, which. It doesn't seem like much. It is the first time, technically, canonically, that they put it in here that we see Sabretooth. And it is like just amazing, because it takes place, like, I just want to really like put that in perspective. Like, this takes place like right as they're in the hospital, like, and everybody's kind of doing their thing. So, you know what I'm saying? This man literally went through like being hunted through the city. He said, bruh tore his throat out. Bruh tore his esophagus, trachea, all of this out of his body. And he just swam to the nearest boat and just straight. He's like, all right, my healing factor is good, but he got me. And it's just, that interaction is just so crazy. And how he didn't say nothing. We don't even bring that part up. in any of these stories going forward. It just shows the deep connection that we're gonna get to in the next, well, a little bit farther down the line. But once we get into like Sabretooth and Victor Creed and like his whole backstory considering Wolverine, I just thought that was like a really amazing way that they just like threw that in there and just was like, no, we're not going to talk about that. He don't want to talk about that. My man's just like, no. So moving forward.
But no, I'll say a little bit about that because I skimmed that. But what I did like about that bonus episode is that how quickly the whole mood changed in that issue, where he was like on like a whole like hunted become the hunter or whatever. He was just like, nah, something around me, let me sit in the back to the wall like how my dad does. My dad loves sitting to the back, gotta face the freaking door and make sure nothing pops off, like just very much in his element because he knows something's after him. But also him dialoguing and being like, I'm a homo sapien and I'm top of the food chain, and just like adding that element to like how animalistic element to him and Sabretooth, how they both have that dynamic with each other that we see in cartoons and feature comics. So I did like that element of the bonus episode. But all right, on to issue 11, The Fall of the Tower. This was a crazy issue. First of all, Nightcrawler got introduced to actual leprechauns after being called one. He actually got to meet some, which I thought was not necessary. And the fact that like we met it on Banshee's estate in Ireland, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, but we're not gonna get too much into it. As well as we kind of see Storm start to come out of her claustrophobia and come back into herself and help out. Also, Professor X gets more clear, his vision is getting more clear, where we see more clear images of the Chitauri, right? Or
it's the
Shi'ar, right? Shi'ar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Shi'ar Empire.
Shi'ar. Chitauri was in Avengers. They're like but Shi'ar. Okay. So yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on this issue? This is probably my favorite after 10, only because of like how Storm comes back to, and how she shuts Logan up when he talked about I messed this whole time, and then she's like, I'm the master, like locksmith, whatever. And I was like, period, Storm, shut that shit down. Tell him to period. I loved it. But yeah, we got thoughts on issue 11.
So I did misspeak earlier. It just blended in. This is the issue where we see Peter defend Storm, like, hey, don't be calling her a broad. Meanwhile, we have Juggernaut referring to her as a bimbo. And I was just like, yo, y'all need
so
to
much disrespect.
Hold on, this misogyny over here. I'm not fucking with it. But she won't beat y'all lives anyway.
It's better than her being called a negress and
Lord.
and
the Ebon witch.
Yeah, Ebon witch. She's like your friend.
You're right. I thought it was cool, especially the leprechauns. It's stereotypical. I get it. It's stereotypical, but for the time, like, all right, they exist. And they're helping Nightcrawler out. They're trying to keep him alive, and that's clutch because of what he's able to do to end up helping Storm. Again, Storm was showing out, but we can't forget just how Nightcrawler and Peter have been able to just assist her in this case. Like, Nightcrawler decided to impersonate. First of all, that's what I want to mention too. In the cartoons, we don't get to see Nightcrawler with his technology like this. Like, this literally Nightcrawler come prepared. Like, y'all made it seem like Nightcrawler is just this, like, just quirky dude, self-righteous. Well, no, I won't say self-righteous, but religious. This man is a scientist, apparently, as well. A tech. He's definitely a jokester. Because he was coming at Juggernaut's neck, and Juggernaut was losing his mind. It's like, you said that shit to me, bro?
Right?
You said that shit to me, bro? Oh, fuck the plan. I'm coming for your ass. And Black Tom,
you can tell he's having a good time.
Oh, he was having a good time.
You can tell.
Black Tom was like, I thought you said your brother was crippled. And Nightcrawler said, shut up. Shut your mouth.
Ain't nobody say that.
Shut that up. It wasn't until he was on the wall that Marco was like, you know what? That ain't my brother. He said, fuck it, then I'm gonna get yours.
Juggling a little slow.
I damn sure did see him in a wheelchair last time.
It was fun.
Like,
It was,
they're not putting
definitely a fun issue. Yeah, like wait, you can walk through? Oh, well, fuck that. I'm still coming up your ass the whole time. You helped them. I purposely do believe that it was always Nightcrawler's intention to open up the space to help Aurora. It just too convenient. And everything that we've seen so far, when it comes to Nightcrawler is very observant. Nightcrawler is a smart ass man. He did this purposely, and he was able to free him, because even throughout the previous issues, what did Peter, what did Nightcrawler say? Like, yo, we would have a better chance if Storm was participating in this fight. Like, there's only so much we can do. First of all, they said this fight would go a lot different. We had Jean Grey, but she's out of commission. Not having Storm fighting made this a one-sided battle. So what do? They try to support her in any way they can. And they do just that. And what happens? We free, bitches. Now we can really fight. Now we can really get the action going. And then on top of that, Wolverine, I love you, Wolverine. You're still my favorite Marvel character. But boy, I need you to learn how to, talk to Storm properly. You doing Colossus dirty. Colossus was like, yo, don't call me Rusky. Don't.
Which I like that he checked him on that. I like how Peter stood up for his friend and himself. He like, bro, stop calling me that racist shit. Like let's slide with Bobby, but I ain't gonna let's slide with you. You ain't no 16-year-old punk kid. You a grown ass man.
Especially when he's like, damn, so Storm can fly. How the fuck we supposed to get up there? He said, he was like, that broad can fly. What are we supposed to do? And he said, what I tell you? Man, what I tell you about calling her abroad, comrade? And I was like, oh shit, okay, Colossus. All right. Colossus is invited to the cookout. That's all I know. He's invited to the cookout. He got an invitation. We got him a plate. He could get a to-go plate. He got everything, because that man really stands up for his friends. And that's one thing I love. It's like, despite how different these characters are, despite the different philosophies, their feelings for each other, the little drama, at the end of the day, they do support each other. There is genuine love and affection amongst them. And I respect that, because they each come from so many different backgrounds. Their walks have never been the same. The only thing they have in common really is just persecution at the hands of just Homo sapiens, like the normal Homo sapiens. But otherwise, it's like, yo, how do you expect, and especially in this case, we're 11 issues in. Now, mind you, yes, it's wordy and whatnot, but 11 issues to really get these people that we just haphazardly put together, that Xavier was like, yo, you coming with me. We about to form this team. Some people left. They went their own way. 11 issues to really build up this sense of camaraderie. I respect it. I respect it so much.
I like this chapter. Like I mentioned, like 12 is my second favorite, but I did really like this chapter, mainly because of Nightcrawler. I think it was very brave of him to go up against Juggernaut like that, but he was also very like rational and thought, it's like, okay, I'm gonna throw this guy off by making fun of him. Like, he's going to be irrational. He won't be, as on point as he should be. And it also gives Storm more of a chance to come out of her claustrophobia and going through all the trauma that she's going through. And then when she does get out, in the blink of an eye, she just creates this hurricane, frees the entire team, which just instantly shows exactly what Nightcrawler was fighting for. So that's that teamwork aspect, right? Like, he knew if he just needed to buy time, Storm will be able to save us all, and she does. So I love that. It's trusting in your teammates. Banshee going up against Black Tom, that was really, really cool. I liked how that ended. I like this chapter a lot. There was a lot of cool stuff in there, but definitely Nightcrawler just roasting the shit out of Juggernaut was hilarious.
Nightcrawler, definitely the MVP. That's my man's, like, just him, like you guys were saying, this is wordy and everything, but it's a lot of exposition, and it really fills in the gaps between like the action that's going on in between. You're seeing like, oh, well, this wouldn't work because he's too fast and he would understand this, and this wouldn't work. Like, it really reminds me of like raw anime has like the Naruto, like the first like real good fights in Naruto, like I'm talking about like Shikamaru versus Kakuzo and stuff like that, where it's like real like, okay, what do I do in here? And it really feels like split second decisions, because it's like if I think too long, I'm gonna get smacked, which you see happen. I have to talk about the leprechauns. There are just leprechauns in this castle. That was just so random.
Or the families that Banshee was talking about. I was like, so what
Bruh.
are they your relatives? Like, are you
And
like,
they
are they
serve
just a
no purpose but
right?
a
they
ridiculous
just
stereotype.
they
Bro,
completely
literally.
went, just probably smart. Like, what I'm saying? They make a lot of smart decisions. This is one of them, which was like, as soon as somebody drew that in, they were like, maybe, we're going to tone that down, because that shit came out of
It
nowhere.
just wasn't needed.
All they do is like, hey, your friends are are captive.
Right.
No,
Go get
no
'em.
connection to who they are. It's like, do y'all work here? Like, where do y'all
Like,
sleep?
Black Tom just
Little
came in.
service.
Right, like
You
Black
know?
Tom just kidnapped us and now we're hostage. It's like, are y'all
So we're just
hostage?
gonna
Because y'all seem to be roaming
I'm
around.
not gonna lie, that kind of
pretty
pissed me
quiet.
off. It was really
That's-
cringy. It kind of pissed me off.
That's why I was just like, I was like, I had to say something about that, because that threw me all the way off. I'm glad they just went back into their, I'm gonna guess, little gnome hole over there, and just did
Gnome
what they
hole is
did.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
Keep that over there. Other than that, everything like that, just Storm, everything that I was just saying again, like Storm is that. This is what I was talking about when I'm saying like the characters, the writers, all of them themselves treat her with such reverence in all of these comics, because it's really just like, yeah, this is the powerhouse, omega level mutant right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is trapped. You know what I'm saying? Two dudes with above normal strength, one dude with like super strength, you know what I'm saying, this other dude that can like teleport everywhere, stuff like that. It's this one that just instantly snaps out one move, everybody's free, you know what I'm saying, just took all these people out, you know what I'm saying. And so got to give it up to Storm. Like I said, she's the MVP always, number one. She's the only one that can take over for leader other than Scott, and that's what happens. But
Period.
you know what I'm saying.
And
But
I
Should've
wish your
happened
mom
sooner.
about that.
I love it. I'll stand on that.
Could've.
She is the leader of the X-Men. You know what I'm saying, right there. If you were to
Yes.
say I prefer her over Scott, I gotta fall back on that one, because you're probably right. But other than that, yeah, I just love this issue because it was just all about Storm. I don't care about Black Tom. I'm not gonna lie, Black Tom Cassidy is
Very
not,
trash.
I didn't start caring about him till the Krakoa age. So if we ever do get to that far, when we start seeing him in Krakoa, then you might see me say something nice about Black Tom. But I didn't care about none of this. That was they did their little dance. That was good. And then and then one thing I just want to bring up real quick is just like, like the relationship between like Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy. Like, you read this and you just think about like, like this is like really random. Where did this come from? Like,
yes, that's what I thought. I'm like, are they lovers? Like,
that's what
why
I'm
is he
saying.
so
It's
hell bent
just-
on saving this man?
Storm flings this man into the ocean, and this man, like all 3,000 pounds of this man, just straight Olympic dives right up into
And then
the
screams
ocean.
and then scream, if y'all kill Black Tom, by God, I'm gonna kill y'all. I'm like, what does this man
Listen,
mean to you?
She's just like, look, it's very interesting stuff. I'll just say, like, it's the interconnectivity in with comics. If you're interested in seeing that relationship, it is explored. Gotta look way back, because with Spider-Man number 229 and 230, and Spider-Man and Spider-Woman 37 and 38, and all of that is explored because it takes place literally like it's them coming out of the ocean and all that, him saving them, and then going directly to fuck with Spider-Man. So you can see all of that. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to go seek out those comics, and because it really does give you a better understanding of like, okay, that's why this man just turned into Michael Phelps for Black Tom Cassidy.
Because I'm reading, I was reading Spider-Woman but I'd stopped. But I meant to go back and finish it if
Yeah.
they pick up from here, because
And this is
that's
old school. I'm
interesting.
talking about like old school Spider-Man.
No,
like, from, like,
like when
yeah.
she was like with Hydra and shit like that before
Exact.
she. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All right, cool.
It's
Let me
that.
go back. So I'll say a few things about this issue. One, I like how when mutants like relatives have no effect on each other, because we saw that with Cyclops and his brother, and then we see this with Banshee and Black Tom, where it's like your scream doesn't do anything on me and my powers don't do anything on you, but that doesn't mean we can't fist fight, which is how it went really crazy, how they started picking up sword, and it was just crazy. I loved it. But I like that exploration of mutant powers where it's like, yeah, relatives with power abilities can't like cause any harm. Why? I don't know. I don't know how that biology works and all of that, but it was a nice thing to kind of see between Banshee and Black Tom. Yeah, Black Tom was very lackadaisical character, wasn't really, kind of knew it was him when Banshee was like, yeah, I got this estate from my family. And we're like, dude, your lawyer is dead. That man died. Like, he is no longer living. So yeah, I enjoyed it for like the action pack and obviously with Storm. But I just like the little tidbits with like just exploration of immune abilities. Logan really was doing the freaking most. I wanted to punch him on several occasions. And even when Storm was breaking free and was in the air being free, he was like, this broad kind of crazy. And I'm like, Logan, did you not learn your lesson? Like, why are you still talking mess? But yeah, and I think that Black Tom and Juggernaut have some kind of, they must have went through something, because that man really was like, this is my friend. And I'm like, that don't seem like friendship to me. That seemed like a little bit more. But yeah, this is definitely probably a third favorite issue. Probably. Number 9 might be up there, but issue 10 is definitely my favorite. All right, so on to the final issue 12. The gentleman's name is Magneto. We get introduced back to Magneto. I mean, Magneto jumps the X-Men. He just shows up and was like, oh, we got a metropolitan city of X-Men. They not whitewashed no more, and they seem a little bit more powerful. Now I can really test out my abilities. Let's just show up for no reason. So what are y'all thoughts on that one? JB. So I think this is JB's favorite one. So let's go to JB.
Yeah, so this is my second favorite one, but I love this because I thought it was just like it's a great like intro to Magneto and everything that he stands for. We've gotten a lot of time with Xavier and his morals and his code and how he works with the X-Men and the government. And then you have Magneto that thinks that Xavier is an absolute fool for trusting the government. He's like, the governments of the world cannot be trusted. Their promises and guarantees are merely words as easily forgotten as spoken. Like, I love the dialogue. Everything Magneto says in this issue is just pure gas. And again, it's that battle of ideologies where Magneto thinks that we need to focus on mutant kind and making a world for us instead of trying to be this force for that the government can use, and as long as we're useful to them, then they're nice to us. But Magneto knows the truth. The moment that quarter flips, you're monsters again, so you should be focusing on your people. So I love that. I love how he's dissecting the X-Men and just like looking at their different abilities, noting that Storm and other X-Men have this raw power that he likes, which will make taking them down even sweeter. Like, literally everything Magneto says in this chapter is amazing. I could go on and on.
For me, when it comes to the X-Men, my next favorite character is Magneto, because like I understand the execution may be suspect, may be not agreed to, but the philosophy, in my opinion, is right. I mean, we see it throughout the history of the X-Men. Humans will never accept you. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how hard you try. It doesn't matter how much goodwill you try to impart. They just won't do it. And Xavier striving for peace, we can really get into some philosophical discussion here, especially when we're related to the civil rights movement and the iconic figures of Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X. But I'm a hold off. I'm a hold off before we start getting on pulpits. But however, look, Magneto said he treated this as an opening move of a chess game. He was just like, okay, like you said, especially okay. So this is what I'm dealing with. It's like, I could easily wipe the floor with you, but I need y'all to understand who did this shit. I need you to understand that it was me. The one, Charles, the one that you tried to toy with. You used your powers on me? We're supposed to be family. You use your powers on me? I bet. You and your kids, y'all gonna get this work. And then just also the thing too, not to be forgotten for me, is I've always been like curious as to Moira McTaggart's like whole character, because as I started to work with you guys, especially, and really dive more into X-Men characters, I'm like, yo, as a character alone, she's so interesting. There's a lot of depth to her, and like you want to understand her. Of course, recent ones they explain better, especially the type of the power she has and the journey she has gone on to get through, and also her loyalty. She's so loyal to Xavier, yo. She is so loyal to him, and it's crazy. It's crazy, given everything that happens, given just the X-Men, given how Charles himself is. Just Moira said, I'm gonna stick beside him. I'm gonna always stick beside him. Doesn't matter how many lives I have to live. I will always stick beside him. I will go through the same journey over and over and over again just to help Xavier out. Look, all hail Magneto. The X-Men seeing their oldest nemesis, Xavier's former closest friend, on and off friend, because they do have moments of reconciliation and stuff like that. I had fun, and me and JB have had conversation before. Me and JB are very much alike. We're very much alike. Issue 10, whereas our favorite, issue 12 was our second favorite, and for me it was because, look, hey, what's up, Magneto? Magneto was like, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What we doing today? Y'all think y'all forgot who I was, right? y'all been having y'all little adventures, fighting y'all little enemies, thinking shit was sweet. He's like, but what's up though? What we doing? I loved it.
Listen, son, this right here, this is how you clear some motherfucker. We were just talking about the X-Men getting dragged, but it was nowhere near the ass whooping that all 5 of these motherfuckers received within 2 seconds. They didn't even know Mans was there. All of a sudden, boom, like that. Your boats tore apart. All these shards of metal is coming at you. Oh, you think you safe Colossus? Bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Man's trying to swim back up. Oh, throw your ass over here. Wolf, oh, you got metal on. Storm's up there. Wrapped up real quick. This man is sitting in his chair. You know what I'm saying? Just straight evil, laughing it up 30 miles away. You know what I'm saying? While these people are fighting for their lives. I'm talking about the top hitters. I was just talking about Aurora. I had to go off on my Aurora bag just so that y'all understood the magnitude that this nigga Magneto brings to the motherfucking table. Because not only did he wrap her up like it was nothing 30 miles away, but he incapacitated everybody trying to save them. Brought them to his lair like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? They thought they were getting somewhere. No, you just swam to my island where I'm about to whoop your asses some more. You know what I'm saying? He's been everything. He's been straight menace, which what he is now. You know what I'm saying? He's been X-Men. He's been leader. You know what I'm saying? He's done everything. And just like seeing this now, it's just like, it makes so much sense. Like this, why, now currently, RIP my nigga, but like this is the only nigga that could for real stand up to like God level Eternals. You know what I'm saying? With a hole through his chest. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of power that we're talking about in this man's, you know what I'm saying? So as much as I'm talking about Magneto, it's amazing, but I gotta bring it back to the MVP. You know this was coming. You knew this was coming right back, because who comes and who saves the motherfucking day. Who comes up and understands that you know what I'm saying? These people, they are force. They are force, you know what I'm saying? Without me, you know what I'm saying? But they are straight motherfucking typhoon when I point them in the right direction. Scott gets there and just starts handling shit. It takes 2 pages for him to get everybody on page, check Wolverine little smelly ass, you know what I'm saying, get everything on top, you know what I'm saying. It's not even just Magneto, now other people are attacking them. The X-Men stay rock solid when we was just seeing them get captured, breaking out, get captured, just, you know what I'm saying, just in disarray. Why? Because my man's motherfucking Scott Summers was not there. Put some respect on the leader of the motherfucking X-Men, because he got there and he motherfucking led the motherfucking X-Men. And that's
He
just
did.
He
that's
did.
all I
And
gotta say.
he probably had the dopest panel out of all of it. Just the way he's using his beams and the way it circled around Magneto. I was like, okay, all right, Cyclops.
circle
I guess you
beams.
aight. I guess you aight.
He broke out the circle beams, and we don't even see that much, you know what I'm saying? But he threw out the hula hoop beams that, you know what I'm saying, his little brother took, you know, in the X-Men First Class movie, and you know what I'm saying, he handled shit. He
X-Men First
handled it.
Class took a lot from these first issues. Like they took a
You
lot.
see it, right?
Even in Apocalypse with Storm and whatever. They did. I'll give them that. They definitely did do their homework, but yeah.
They did. They didn't do it right, but they
Oh
turned
yeah,
it. They
100%.
They didn't do the homework right, but they turned it in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
love it.
The
I love it.
facts were there, not in the right place, but they were there.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They got an F, but the paper was turned in. So A for effort. You know what I'm saying? But and then it's just like, that's just what I love. You know what I'm saying? Just if I were to sum up this whole issue, this actually, I'm going back, this is my favorite issue just because this is my favorite moment out of all of that. Because I say, just summary, one sentence: Cyclops came in and led the motherfucking X-Men, and that's what he did. And then I got to talk about the extra story, of course, because, you know, we get in the backstory of Magneto. I've read this story probably so many times, where we actually like really get into, like, there's actually 2 backstories. We're not gonna talk about the other one because that's kind of pointless. But the one about Magneto, though, just every single time, A Fire in the Night is one of the things that I always point to, where I was like, this is why comic books win awards. You know what I'm saying? This is why, like, comics right now, this right here, this is literature. You know what I'm saying? And it needs to be treated as such. They should teach this in schools. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, everybody knows our age. Just for everybody, quick rundown: Magneto, Eric Lenscher, as he was, you know what I'm saying, just Jewish man, height of the Holocaust, just trying to live, got his wife, got his daughter, you know what I'm saying, just trying to work every man's life somehow. You know, we all have those days, you know what I'm saying, everybody got that annoying ass boss, you're always on your time, but we don't have powers that we always got to keep in check. And unfortunately, my man just for 1 second just doesn't keep it in check. The whole town finds out, and unfortunately burned down his house with his wife and first child in it. And it's just, you know, him seeing that, and just after you, like, directly after seeing, like, menacing, you know, like, put in my helmet, you know, straight, I will kill you, X-Men, to just like going straight into like the real backstory as to like all of this. And it just still rings true today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even Jewish or anything like that, but just knowing that, just, or seeing that, and the, you know, the raw emotions, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like, JB, you'll probably really, really like this, because this is really that poetic, you know what I'm saying? If there's one thing Magneto gonna do, he gonna drop a speech, and that shit gonna be motherfucking inspirational. And that's all that this was, you know, just, you know, I wish I had quoted some of these joints like you, but you know what I'm saying, maybe next episode we gonna have to throw some of these in here, because, like, yo, some of these joints were powerful, and they hit me like right here. And then, you know, it's one of the greatest origin stories in all of comics, so I just gotta throw that in there.
Preach.
Lit. So I think, so I was just kind of like glancing over, and it seems to be like this is like also one that the movies took from, I think, after X-Men First Class, when Magneto went into hiding, had his family, and then like I think something of that similar instance happened. But just seeing like the shading of it and all of it looks really good. But my favorite one is definitely The Gift, only because I love Kurt. I love Nightcrawler. I love how he is a man of faith, like you've been saying, Blur, but like he wants people to enjoy life. He's not one of those stern-wrecking people because of how he looks, and he's just like, look, just have fun with it. And seeing that little boy, just be very like weirdly placed, and then seeing how he dies, and instead of him crying, he's just like, no, like I made someone happy for the short amount of time they're here on this earth, and I loved it. So guys, so who's the MVP of today's few bunch of issues? And we have some Nightcrawlers and some Cyclopses, but I'm feeling it's between Nightcrawler and Storm. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaning towards a little bit more towards Storm, but what do y'all thought?
I gotta give it to Storm. On with my second place being the low-key Peter. Low-key Peter,
Right.
he's my
Right.
second. He's my second, but I'm definitely gonna give it to Storm because she really showed out. These 4 issues really put her on a different pedestal because a lot of them, their escape, their ability to survive doesn't happen without Storm getting it together. She didn't really overcome her claustrophobia she was trying to. Shout out to Nightcrawler for helping her like at least feel better by opening up the room so she could breathe. But really, if Storm isn't who she is, if Storm isn't Storm, it's GG's. It's GG's. As much as Nightcrawler helped, especially as much as Peter helped, Storm is my MVP. Just great supporting cast, though. She had a great supporting cast.
Yeah, Storm is my MVP too. Like she's just amazing. I love getting to see her backstory, and even though she's dealing with something extremely traumatic from her childhood, like she still found a way to make it out to save the team on multiple occasions throughout these chapters. So I love Storm. I think she's amazing. And second for me, I mean, Magneto, man. Like the dialogue was just insane in issue 12, and just his intro, him dragging the X-Men, just showing how superior he is, and also just showing why he is the flip side to Xavier's coin. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Like Storm's always the MVP. Like I think I've said this every time. It's like anytime Storm is in the comic, she's instantly the MVP. So I just automatically have to give it to her. So she's the auto MVP, but just like JB said, I give the second spot to motherfucking Magneto for just 10 pages of just destruction out of the whole 4, like just 4 of these issues. You know what I'm saying? We picked a perfect place to cap off on it because it's perfect like way to end it. But it's like just throughout there, just him being at the end and just straight handling everybody. Just he deserves MVP top spot. And then of course having the origin at the end, where I think I misspoke. I said that both his wife and his kid burned up. It was just his first child that burned up, and then just seeing him having to process like her blaming him for the people, like just in straight grief, just her blaming him and running away for these people killing their daughter, just because he lost it for 1 second. It's just such a human moment because it's like you lose it for 1 second, you just get you're just that angry, and it's just like for him a power manifests, and then all of a sudden that's your entire life. That's the life of your child that is a literal barely older than a baby at that point. So and then seeing that, just seeing the whole just the unbridled, just straight poetry that this man was laying in his origin and while he was whooping ass, that gives him the top spot for MVP under Storm, who's always MVP.
I love that. And I love how when Magneto was speaking, he was like, in your future Lord. And I'm just like seeing where he was in the comics, how people treated him like a Jesus type. Like it's like this man knew from the beginning where he stood at. So I love that.
And Blerd, can you just one more time for the people listening? Can you just state who Storm clears? Just one more time. And I'm gonna have it right next to you. I'm gonna have it right next to you. I just need you to just one more time. Just one more time.
Listen, every day, any day of the week, Sunday through Sunday, twice on a Monday, motherfucking Storm clears Wonder Woman, and she is the greatest female superhero to ever grace a comic newspaper screen page, anything like that. And anytime,
yes, Lord!
anytime Wonder Woman ever steps to the goddess, she gets her ass fried up, extra crispy, no lemon pepper.
Y'all are so silly.
Hey, man.
Now you catching the Holy Ghost.
Put the panel right here. Put the panel right here. Listen. Put the panel right here. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Straight.
This is gonna be a real
barbecue. Thank you for preaching. Thank you for preaching, Brother Blerd. Thank you. I appreciate that. It nourished my spirit and my soul. It definitely did. Just, I'm ready to conquer the rest of this week. I'm
screaming. Well, to end that off, like Blerd was saying, we ended at a perfect spot because the next few issues we're gonna be dealing with the Phoenix Force, and that, for those who know, besides Storm, the Phoenix Force is probably my favorite thing to explore. So I'm excited to see it. It changed Jean for the crazy good, because it's already started when she was talking to Misty Knight. She was like, imagine dying and coming back. Imagine how you would act. So I'm excited. Any last words, y'all, before we end things off, before everyone tells people where to find y'all at?
Honestly, Brother Blerd gave me my last word. All I can say is amen, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I have nothing else to say.
I second that.
Listen, these were some of the best chapters. Like Spicy was saying, the foreshadowing is there. We about to get the Phoenix Force. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was just like 3 panels, we about to get that Wolverine Sabretooth rivalry. You about to see it. It's so interesting to, you know what I'm saying, how they take villains that weren't even supposed to be related to each other and all, because for real Sabretooth was a Heroes for Hire villain, but we'll get into that in the video when he shows up. The foreshadowing is on point. Y'all are in for some amazing episodes coming up.
Yes. So to end things off, Abe, tell me where they can find you at.
Look, y'all can find me at Prince_ALAWAL. That's on Twitter. Also on Twitch. By the time you're hearing this, the YouTube page will already be out. I don't know exactly what the YouTube page is called, but you can, if you find my socials, you'll see it there. Look, I always enjoy my time here to be able to chop it up with other people who look like me, who come from the trenches like I have, who just understand the things that some people don't really understand, and being able to just nerd out and talk about one of the most iconic teams in all of comic book history. Honestly, the best team in all of comic book history. It's always a good time. It's always a fun time. So appreciate y'all. Y'all know where to find me. Make sure y'all follow my compatriots, even our missing comrade who's busy today. Y'all make sure y'all go follow Bearded Blerd as well. Appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all have drop a like on the video, by the way, subscribe, all that good jazz.
Abe with the promo, love it. JB.
Yeah, you guys can follow me all over social media at JBxclusive. You want to find everything that I do, go to carefulforspoilers.com. We got a bunch of articles on there, a bunch of reviews, a bunch of different lists. One of the most recent ones that we have up is the top 5 Stan Lee cameos in movies. Our Black Adam review. We got a bunch of different movie reviews. Also check out InfiniteVoid.com. That is the site where we have all of our video production stuff. We got some car videos up there from the last 2 Slammed Enough car shows, one in Gatlinburg, one in Daytona, and I also shot my brother's car. So there's a lot of great content. Like Abe said, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. And I just want to say, like, I genuinely love doing this show with you guys. When Spicy invited me to do this, I was like, oh, this is going to be sick. And I enjoy every moment of doing the show with you guys. So thank you.
Listen, follow me, subscribe, everything Blerd Central, BLERD Central. By the time this comes out, there should be one of a few videos, or at least 2 of a few videos that should be coming out, either the Uncle Iroh Positive Masculinity and the Anakin Skywalker retrospective grooming, all of that. So be sure to check those out, whichever one is up there currently, and be sure to check out the one that I'm about to put up by this point. And then and follow me on Twitter, just to shit posting about comics and anime. And smash that, just summon a tropical storm and destroy that subscribe button, please. And just like we said, follow our other comrade who's on his own solo mission right now, Bearded Blerd, Oda's Ghostwriter on Twitter. Be sure to follow him. If you know, funny shit, you don't want to see people get fried up, make sure you follow him on Twitter. Yeah, and just love doing this with you guys.
Y'all making my heart, like, I'm glad y'all having fun, because it's X-Men. It's like, and it's just like a family. So family talk of another family. I love it. But yeah, guys, y'all know me, Spicy Lady. You can follow me on all my social media, Spicy Lady ENT on Twitter, Spicy Lady Gaming on Twitch, Spicy Lady Talks on YouTube. I am revamping the YouTube, y'all, so more video essays on the way. I'm currently working on a Batman Beyond video on why we don't deserve it, as well as I will be breaking down the Spider-Verse trailer, as well as probably already up there already, but if not, you know, letting you guys know that now. But yeah, a lot of more video essays. I'm also going to be reviewing the Spider-Man cartoon series ever made, like every single one. So I'm starting with the 67, which has been hilarious. I've been laughing my butt off. Peter is James Jemison was right for saying that Peter Parker is a menace to society, because this man is he is a scammer. But what else do you expect from a dude from New York? But anyway, thank y'all for listening, for watching. Like everybody said, make sure you like that video. If you're watching this live on our YouTube channel, which is Mutants Only Podcast, or if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Mutants Only. Appreciate y'all, and yeah, catch y'all next one, and stay mutant and proud.